what is the right content for LinkedIn? And these are people that I follow on a regular basis, and I interact with a lot of them on their content as well. So here is Sujit. He has his own fund that he manages, and he typically writes a lot about finance and banking and options trading and all of that. Then we have Hitanshu Gandhi, a career consultant who loves to put frameworks into everything that we see. So here he's written about the workflow for Amazon, Uber, Canva, and compared it with Aviral Bhatnagar, which is quite amusing for me, but a great interesting read. Then there's Jonathan Tesser. John tells a lot of, so as when I started out as an analyst myself, I looked up to John a lot because he told us like it's quite intimidating when you're entering a new field. So a lot of his posts tells new joiners and veterans as well that okay, if you're doing this, stop. If you're doing this, go ahead. So a lot of gyan for people in the analytics domain, I would say, and great takeaways from every single post of his. Then there's Laksh, a student of economics and statistics, and he loves to talk about the state of the economy through numbers. Finally, we have Garv, a stand up comedian who writes amazingly hilarious posts that are quite timely, they're quite entertaining, and they also have that wah kya pakde ho bhai sahab wala feeling when you read it. So what is the point that I'm trying to make here? There is no right or wrong content for LinkedIn. What you put out on LinkedIn is about you projecting your brand, about you letting the world know that, hey, this is my niche. I like to talk about this, or I'm good at this XYZ thing. So that there is no right or wrong answer for the kind of content that you should create on LinkedIn. There I've seen a lot of, like, of late I've seen there are political analysts who are there on LinkedIn. They talk about the what the various political parties are doing, and it's perfectly right. It's perfectly all right for them to be posting that on LinkedIn. So if you have any inhibitions about what you should or should not post on LinkedIn, don't, because see, there are people ranging from a CEO of a company to a student to a jig stand-up comedian over here, who are all putting out content and building their presence on the platform. So why should you not? Like, what is stopping you guys? I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm just a student. I don't know much." Well, yeah, so is Laksh, but that's not stopping him from posting here, right? And quite frankly, nowadays a lot of the times whenever I have any doubts on say either an economic policy that has come out or just in general concepts about economics, I reach out to Laksh and ask him, because that's the kind of brand he's built for himself over these years. So if you think that you've not found the right content, that's why you're not posting on LinkedIn, trust me, there's nothing like perfect content. There's always good content, and then there's not so good content which you should improve upon. So just don't worry about what is the right content or what is not the right content. The audience is automatically going to tell you what is right, what is working, what is not working for them. So the next part is through generating content. Like, nothing helps you network as much as generating content. It's somewhat like inbound marketing. If people keep pushing their advertisings to you, you all of us really hate watching ads. So just think of it that way. If you keep pushing out advertisements from your end, people are just going to mute you after a point. They're just going to look the other way whenever you ask for help. But if you're practicing something like what inbound marketing companies do, like HubSpot, people are going to visit your profile because you're creating that great content. Like, what better way for you to get noticed than through creating insightful content? So do start creating content as soon as you can. It can be something as simple as just the notes that you've taken in your class. But yes, do start off today. Another thing is, so this is again something that I read quite recently. I mean, otherwise before that, this point probably wouldn't have even been here. And again, this was something that Jonathan Tesser had written in his post. A lot of the people just engage for the heck of engaging. Like, when people like John or something put out a post on, say, analytics, he's expecting someone to either counter him or tell him that, hey, there's a better way to do it, or hey, that even I've gone through this and these are the challenges that I faced. Not some. So he finds it very annoying when people just say, oh, great post. And yeah, you're not adding any value to anyone with just commenting for the heck of commenting. So engage in a way that's thoughtful to them, because these thought leaders, they're humans too, after all. So even they need a muse to bounce ideas off. And if you can act as that muse, then they're going to remember you for that. I have connected, like, Jonathan is someone who has over, I think, 100,000 followers. But I was able to connect with him. Like, he actually removed a connection of his to connect with me. Like, that's how great it is to engage meaningfully on a thought leader's posts. Same thing had happened with a lot of others. So before, when Dr. Malpani was on the platform, he had also connected with me the same way. So if you're engaging in a very meaningful way, if you're adding to their content rather than just being like a sycophant, they're going to remember you for that. Uh, yeah, so this, I'm not sure. I tried finding the LinkedIn mentorship program, but for whatever reasons, I could not find it. But before, there was a program that LinkedIn used to run, which connects you to veterans in your industry. So I have, like, how many mentors do I have right now from the bank? Yeah. So there are 4 people who've spent, 10, 20 years in the industry, who I look up to for advice. And that was all thanks to the mentorship program that they had. I will share a link if I can find it. I could not find it, which is why I just had to write it down over here. But LinkedIn mentorship program is, if it's still available, you guys should definitely try, joining that. And one suggestion that I would give is, when you reach out to these people, so you see these people are quite busy. So if you send out a generic message to them, 99% of the time they're not going to respond to you. So make sure that the first impression that you make, the first message that you send out to them, is quite clear. It has to, have a framework in mind. So the framework that I typically follow is, does it tell them anything about what I am looking for, why I look up to them? Does it tell them, what I have to offer on the table? Does it tell them anything about what my background, or the strengths and weaknesses, or where I want to improve, that I think they can help me? So these are a few things that keep in mind, because that helps them. It makes life easier that much for them to respond to you in a meaningful way. And finally, personalized invites. I know a lot of people, when they're looking to build connections on LinkedIn, they just follow a spray and pray sort of a method, wherein they send out invitations to just about any person. You just keep clicking on the connect button. And probably if you've sent a request to 100 people, 3 of them might respond to you. That is the worst possible way for you guys to connect to people. Like I said, first impressions matter. So it's extremely crucial that you make a very good first impression, that you're just not lost in the clutter. There are thousands of others like you who are sending out connection requests. But how do you make sure that you stand out? Use the personalized invites. So whenever you go into a person's profile to connect to them, there is a drop down that you can say to, that says personalize your note. So you can tell them, why are you connecting? What made you come to their profile? What do you think, like, how you think their experience or whatever you saw on their profile is going to help you. And be as polite as possible when you're sending this out. Don't just send out, again, a lot of people tend to send out generic responses like, hey, I want to connect. Why? Like, what are you going to achieve out of connecting? What do you think? It's how is it going to, if you're just going to say how I would like to connect, my first question to you would be, why should I connect with you? What do you have to offer? Personalized invites create a good way for you to start off your connections on LinkedIn. That's like one of the best ways to network. While on the note, on the topic of networking, I know a lot of you probably have connected to people without sending out a personalized invite, or you've probably connected with them and then not spoken to them for years at a stretch, and now you want to reach out to them. Don't start off with a hi. Like, just saying hi is as annoying as those, sales call that we get from HDFC or Policy Bazaar or whatever. People don't want to respond to that. Instead, give a brief background introduction about yourself. Tell them what you were expecting out of them. Ask them if they have time. So don't just send. Cold callings are the worst way to do things, is what I'm trying to say. The other person knows what is expected of them, what is expected of you, and set that groundwork, because networking becomes that much more easier. So yeah, so like I have personally benefited a lot from sending out very uh, succinctly written, poignant notes to people, telling them, ki, okay, this is what I would want to do. I want to learn XYZ, and I see that you have an experience in that. So I just want to understand if you would have some time to help me build my understanding, help me build my skills in this area. So, and a lot of them, like for example, Hitanshu, he's he and I became so close over the course of the years that nowadays I can just hit him up, WhatsApp him or call him and then just tell him, ki, hey Hitanshu, I'm not able to understand this. Can you help me understand what this means? So you can create. It's just more. It goes beyond LinkedIn when you try personalizing your invitations or your messages to the other person.